Okay, we're broadcasting and we're back. So you want to do any machine next?
Is there anybody watching?
Magic.
Is anyone watching?
Not yet. I'm going to put it on Facebook too and we'll catch it. Sure. Right now the camera's directly on the correct. Okay.
That'll get us some viewers. I know we need to get in here.
I will throw this in there and give it a
How are you doing at the front of that thing? That's
I'll see once I wash most of
It's
this.
definitely one of the big trouble spots.
I know I scraped a lot off, and this is I've been trying to dust everything off, but I know once I put water in this, it'll be
All right. You need help moving it over here?
if you would be so kind since you're on this side.
How are you looking for it to be in there?
So this part on the bottom and this part sticking up. Okay, we don't want to bend.
You're set.
All right, thank you, sir.
For some reason, milk concentrate, it always feels like it smells worse over here.
Yeah, actually, like right in here. In your face.
You know, there's sort of water in there. your hair exactly how you want it?
No. But people do. How are you holding up over there?
Good. Coming along. The time's going really fast, to be honest. I feel like it.
I'm gonna we're running out of time.
Yeah, that's happening actually. By at 2:30, we'll take a look and kind of see where our priorities at.
Also, good clock out, and then if you want to continue, we could.
No, I would just keep paying. No matter what, we're not going to be here much past 5, I don't think.
Get yourself.
Right on the desk. What's that?
Just putting the glasses back.
Which class? Oh.
It's gonna have to notice everything here.
Yeah, I'd say so. Well, even when we're done, the cleanup, we have pretty good cleanup ahead.
Brad,
Yes.
I have some gifts for Mickey. Can I hand them over to you?
Some guests for Mickey?
Yes.
Gifts? Berries or something?
Fortunately, no, because I can't touch the doorknob.
Understood. Okay.
Oh wait, here comes somebody.
Thank you.
Melissa's here. I guess they have gifts.
Any gifts?
I don't want to touch the thing up.
Why? Yeah.
Well, I can't tell if anyone from home is watching or not, but thank you for bearing with us. If you were with us earlier and when we lost the feed and joining us again.
Ready to decoup?
Yeah, get my water as well. That's it.
A technical term.
Yep. New science here.
What are y'all's exact positions?
What's that?
Your positions?
I am the Associate Director of Guest Programming, and Corinne is an Animal Interpretation Associate.
Did you have specific training in doing that right now?
Working with skulls, you mean?
Yes.
At a previous institution, I actually started working with skulls, though I was self-taught. I self-taught myself.
How much does the skull weigh?
You know, I've been asked that a few times. We actually haven't weighed it. It is heavy. If everything put together, I would not be able to lift it. Even just this part here is really only a third of it, and even picking that up, it's pretty heavy.
This one's at least 30 pounds. That's probably 30 pounds.
Yeah, it's gotta. I would guess it's gotta be at least 50 pounds. Can you let Joe in? Are you decent?
Yeah.
Thank you. It's just a few updates. We do have some people at home watching.
We do.
I shared it on Beyond Rubik's Cube Google Plus page. I promised the Rubik's Cube would join the
Of course.
So here's Here's the Rubik's Cube to join the fun. So for the last, it's 2:18. For the
Okay.
last 40 minutes, we just wanted to do like a recap of everything that we talked about today. So where the skull came from,
Sure.
what it's
So
for.
starting from the very beginning. So
Yeah.
this hippopotamus skull was donated to us by the Toledo Zoo of Ohio. It's from the hippo that passed away there. She was very old. She was 58 years old, which at the time made her the second oldest hippo in North America. Just to give an idea, typically in the wild, hippos don't live much past 30, and even in captivity, usually 45 is about where they will live to. So 58 was very old. She did pass away from natural causes, and after they did their necropsy and all that kind of good stuff, they made her available for donation to an educational institution that would utilize her for education purposes. We jumped at the opportunity to acquire her, so end of May 2013, so last May, she arrived here. The very first day, she came fully fleshed, which means everything was still there, all her skin and all that kind of stuff. So we actually had to remove all that. That all happened the very first day. We wanted to remove as much as possible so that the next steps of the process would go a little bit quicker. Once that was removed, to remove all the rest of the material on her, all the flesh and everything else, we use a process here called cold water maceration. And essentially what that means is we soak her in a bacteria bath. So we put her in water and we heat that water. Either in the summertime we use the sun, and when we moved indoors during the winter time, we actually used an aquarium heater to get that bacteria to grow. And we let the bacteria really do the work for us. The bacteria eats away the flesh, or it loosens it so that every week or two we could go in and refresh the water and remove any kind of really loose stuff. That process was mostly completed within 6 months or so, maybe even a little earlier. So why are we here and it's nearly 14 months later and we're still working? Well, one thing we didn't account for is that the bone is very thick, especially in the mandible here. And there is actually nerve material that was inside this bone. There was no tool we had that could get inside and remove that nerve tissue. So essentially what we had to do was just wait for it to rot and rot and rot. Originally we thought it would rot to the point where we could finally get a hold of it and yank it out in one long piece, and that's actually not what happened. What happened was it actually rotted to the point where it just fell apart. And from scraping, using some steel wire, and using a hose attachment, we were able to get inside there and just kind of blast and scrape all that stuff out, for the majority of it out. Enough, anyway. Once that was finished, we were ready for what we're doing today, which is what we call the final clean. So what we're scraping apart today is actually not flesh at all. What we're scraping apart is all that bacteria we spent the last year growing on her to remove the flesh. And the reason why we want to get that off is when she goes into whitening, we don't want any of that causing any kind of discoloration or spotting. So the more of that stuff, this stuff we can get off, the better the final product will look. Once we're done today, which we probably still have a few hours to go here, I would say maybe a couple hours, she will go into a whitening bath. We use hydrogen peroxide. A lot of people figure we use bleach. We actually use peroxide because the bleach can be very, very harsh on the bone. So we use bleach. It's not the bleach you would use at home, though, in your medicine cabinet. The bleach we use here is a much higher concentration. The bleach is great because it will eliminate any lingering smell that there might be. Will completely kill off any bacteria we didn't scrape off. And it will turn the skull, for the most part, that beautiful classic white that you think of when you see a skull on display. Following that, which will soak her for a week, she will be available as part of our reimagining of our animal artifacts cart program here, which means in about early mid-August, she's actually going to go out on a cart. She'll be able to travel around the science center, and she will not be behind glass. She'll actually be available for guests to come all the way up to an even touch, which is a really, really neat thing. And she's going to be teaching people about, especially our young guests, all about animal adaptation and all the things you can tell about an animal, like just by looking at its skull. and we'll actually have other animal skulls available at the same time that people will actually be able to compare. So that's really where she's headed, and we're kind of at the very, very end of that process now. Anybody at home, if you, for everybody who is watching, just a quick reminder, if you do want to ask us any questions or share any thoughts or comments, you can just comment on the video feed itself. Please bear with us if it takes us a little while to get to your question or your comment. We, myself and Corinne, cannot answer cannot check the computer. Obviously, we can't. We don't want to be touching anything with our hands. So we have to wait for our social media guru, Joe, who's stopping in periodically to check those things for us. So please just bear with us. How are you doing over there? Why don't you pull the cranium out?
Alright,
Let's get them next to each other, and let's take kind of a look here at where we're at with this as we kind of creep up on each other here. You need help getting that out? Arm day? Everyone can see. Let's probably come over here. You look like you've done real well at the front here, or is it just because it's wet?
I've done really well.
Well, a little bit of both, or is it just? It looks like you've got these like there's big trouble spots right there. All right. So maybe a little bit in there. We're doing pretty well there. Over here needs still a bunch. Same over here.
Yeah,
Looks
I was
like
kind
the
of focusing on
main
these
part.
motors.
We got a lot of stuff on the back.
Yeah, so I was over here, but I can start from back. If you want to switch or do whatever.
Yeah, why don't we switch? Because I've been working on this. Maybe it would be good if fresh eyes work on this and fresh eyes work on this. Do you want to go in the sync with this? I think this is probably ready to go back in the sync.
Alright, let's think.
We go the other way.
Okay.
Jumping over wires.
You may not want to hop over wire.
How do you want it in there?
Just like that. So bottom, that's bottom, top. Boom.
There you go.
Yeah, that one I just didn't get to the back.
Gonna do it now.
Do it now.
So everyone at home, me and Corinne just kind of switched here. We're just taking stock as the day progresses. We've been now in here scraping for about 4 hours, believe it or not. We got into the lab around 10:30. So the part I was working on was the mandible, which is the lower jaw. Now we just switched, and now I'm working on the top, which is the cranium.
This bubble thing, that's the thing I have to be really careful.
Yeah, just don't scrub it real tough. You could just be gentle. Hello, everybody back outside.
You said don't focus too hard on the T-holes.
Yeah, not too, because,
Yeah, I'll get them.
yeah, don't worry about, because really we're worried about aesthetics. And if it gets spotted inside the sockets that are going to be filled with the tooth anyway, it's not really a big deal. And it's not like the bacteria is going to live in there and smell. It's, as soon as it touches that peroxide, it's already going to get immediately killed.
Do you happen to know how old the oldest one was?
I don't. I know that she was the second oldest hippo in North America at the time, and the only one that was older than her was only a couple months older than her, so it was also 58. As far as what the all-time record is, I actually don't know that. Just got myself there.
What, the pokey thing?
Yep. The pokey thing.
It's a pokey thing.
How old did this hippo be?
She was 58 years old.
The average lifespan of a hippo.
Captivity 45. She was the second oldest one in North America at the time of her passing. When we bring her outside, we'll reattach that thing and give her another blasting. We'll get all this loose stuff off.
Oh, right, yeah, that'll be good.
That'll help a bit.
What's another band that you like that's not too bad?
AC/DC.
Wait, all of their songs are about sex.
Yeah, you know it.
Huh.
You know what time it is?
It is 2:34.
How awesome would it be if Jency was here?
I know. Pick another band.
Okay. Didn't like mine?
I can't find AC/DC on here. So I said Spotify, let me down.
I don't know. Your call now.
That's not helpful.
I struck out.
Okay.
There's too much language in that.
E6.
6 is not bad. Keep it relatively low. Oh, this is supposed to be like a newer album or something.
Yeah, I think it's 2012. Do you want an older album?
No, it's cool. Want to hear some stuff I haven't heard. Just means I might be downloading it later.
No. Okay, this is something code. Successful.
One of my favorite all-time bands. Am I giving that like a himself?
old do macaws get?
They can live into their 50s, maybe 60. What's that?
Trying to be as nice to this bulby thingy as possible.
You're doing fine. I haven't heard any like freaking out over there. So.
Oh, I think the only day I actually had a panic attack, so I pulled out that was more.
Oh.
That god awful noise.
That's alright, we got it out.
Okay.
No permanent damage. Now we just gotta get back
You might actually have to cut off that little piece. I don't see it going back in.
in. We'll get it in.
How's it going over there?
Good. I'm just trying to through did a lot of Now I flipped it over, so now I'm seeing everything I didn't see when it was flipped the other way.
Right, right. Well, the good news is a lot of this is clean. It's not just because it's clean.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of it that's on there is loose. It's just getting it all off.
Word. Itty bitty spots. Then it's bubble thingy. One there.
All right. And the honest answer is I think we could probably use another 3 hours of doing this.
Yeah.
With that, and that's not even getting to peroxide and all that stuff. But it's a tricky thing because it's not like we can put it away and say we'll come back tomorrow. Because either that means we got to put it back underwater, which means by the time we take it back out, there'll be more bacteria. Or if we don't put it underwater, we're just going to get all the mold on it that we got to remove. So there is no.
It's a shame, but there's only 2 of us, so.
I think we're doing pretty good. Yeah.
Looking for like big spots.
That's good. Volunteers outside, can you guys let us know what time it is?
It's 2:50.
Thank you. All right, so everybody at home, I think the feed actually is going to turn off at 3 o'clock, which is about 10 minutes from now. So we're going to continue cleaning for a little while. We'll probably keep picking, and I think we're then going to go into kind of our final scrubbing mode here shortly. If you're following along, that means after we finish that, we're actually going to then take her out of this room, we're going to take her outside and prepare her hydrogen peroxide bath, and then she will be sitting in that for about a week. And then follow us along with on our Twitter, our Facebook, all that great social media stuff. I'm sure there'll be a video on YouTube, and you can see the final result, which should be coming out in just a short couple weeks. All right. Do you have a lot of stuff on there you want to pick at?
There's really not much. It's like real little stuff.
All right. Why don't we switch? I'm going to start really giving the hard scrub on that.
Okay. Yeah, I'll continue to.
You can keep picking at that. Definitely seems like the cranium has a little more than the mandible at this point.
Yeah, that one is much. You've done a good job at this.
Yeah, I got a lot out. I always use more. Actually, this looks pretty good too.
Yeah, no, like it's literally like teeny tiny bits, and then like the holes.
Don't worry about that.
I was looking for like the big gunky parts, but didn't see them. So that's a plus. These cuts actually hold a whole bunch.
Yeah, we're working on those a bit. I wouldn't even freak out too much. I would start thinking like, if it was sitting there in a cart, what's the most obvious spots that people would sit?
I hear you. The commentary.
How's it going?
Good. I'm gonna go ahead and say we've had at least 10 people
Oh, snap.
plus.
It's like, I don't know how you check the number right now.
Well, we had 7 viewers
Earlier.
and then we had 4 viewers for the second feed. So
We also had what looked like people come off and on. We don't know, they could have been different people. Is there a way to see, like, type of stuff?
yeah, there is. And I'm going to cut together a highlight reel too, and then we'll have more views of that.
Yeah, we were just kind of giving the folks at home a little, because I know it goes off in a few minutes, right?
Yeah, I heard you doing that.
Yeah.
Corinne, why don't you wave goodbye to the folks at home? That's nice, Corinne. Well done, Corinne.
You enjoyed staring at us for like 6 hours.
Who would?
Who wouldn't, Fred?
We've kind of been the final mode here of our final clean now. We're kind of, Corinne's still doing some picking, but we're transitioning into our scrubbing. It'll be the final step before we bring her downstairs, prepare her for her bath. This is looking good.
Yeah, that one looks really
I'm
good.
really happy with the mantle.
This one just gets so much. You can't
It's
get
just
to
so much larger.
the little brush.
Standing right in the camera.
Yeah, let's say.
Jeez, Joe.
Literally right in front of him. Not even one.
Those 10 viewers, man. They're pissed.
Come on, Joe. Move. Yeah, this will. I'm real happy with how the mantle turned out. Looking real good. You did a pretty good job cleaning up some of these sockets.
Okay. Ew, look at that.
Nice. Oh, sorry about that.
Flashbacks this morning.
We're pretty good on calling it quits on our mandible there.
Good stuff.
You can definitely see it's lightened a few shades.
Not that like brownish, greenish, sludgy thing.
Radium's turn? We can have a few minutes.
There's still some good spots.
Well, everyone, thanks for joining us today.